While it's being set up, though, I just want to let everybody know that the meeting is being recorded. So if you could put cell phones on silent, be a big help to us. Also, just let you know, we have 5 hearings this evening. And I know that a lot of people don't want to go through, for whatever reason it might be here, we've already do solar energy ordinance that we're going to put that. There's going to be a break at the end of the first fullest hearing. So be a break, because I know a lot of people probably won't have room as far as readings and stuff, so anybody. No, just to know, it's going to be a crowded area, so there's no break. Once these first 4 hearings are heard, we'll take a small break. Let the people know down the door as well, so they'll know that after the break, we'll be doing the other. Here. Also, want to appreciate everybody. Okay. All right. First thing on, roll call members. Being recorded. Yeah.
Okay. Barry Manway,
Present.
Andy Strati, are you online? Okay. Chester Goots.
Here.
Dan Osborne.
Present.
John Miller.
Here.
Wayne Bean. Joel Samuelson.
Present.
Bobby Cooper here.
Dan. Thank you.
Republic which stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody had a chance to look at the June 20th minutes. And for approval. And motion to approve. Yeah. Second. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Carried. And also, we've got the May minutes as well, if you think no way to keep them back. Have that good, right? Yeah. And the other things. I'll better make sure. So, first hearing that we're gonna see tonight is for a zoning change, so we need a public hearing, but we'll go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Vernon Shimolevsky, a resident of 12, I live at 517 Central Drive, near the park. And I own a piece of property that's on 10 that's in where the address of 18604 is between Larry Boatsman and Louis Costa. As you can see, the picture I showed you there is I made a promise to Ginny that I would finish the building at a certain time, and I did that. As Gutter said, there are any downspouts, any necessary needs. It also has solar lighting, and I have a ginormous portable generator for the building. It's to give a little bit of background on me. I've been in the marine industry for my whole life in boating, but I also am a part owner of a marina in downtown Chicago. I own property there, and I have a boat rental business there on Homer Coast Guard captain. And I have been restoring pontoons. I'm the first pontoon boat rental company in Chicago since 2001. In 2004, we started rebuilding them from the ground up. I've got every possible resource as a client or a vendor. In fact, this week alone, I've secured Barletta, Brunswick, JC, and Diageo pontoons last year, Paul's Marine and Donza Marine as my vendors for parts for whatever reason that I was in the parts for. During the course of time, I've had a tremendous amount of people contacting me for parts. And I have been able to set up parts on that online store, but the parts are sent directly from factory to them and have worked out those details. Along the way, I've been constantly requested, hey, can you install that part? So I'm the only company in the entire US that can take a pontoon log and restructure it, the specifications of any given boat in America, and have it so that the mounting brackets that fit specifically on that pontoon and to have it as a sports center log, for example. With that expertise and facilitation, we've had over $700,000 worth of business I've had to literally give away because they've been asking us, well, hey, you've made it for us, can you now install it? And I made a promise to Ty Adley that I would not do any service with it. Well, what people may not know is 1/3 of my property borders a C2 property in the dollar store 2 over from me. And I've been kind of looking over the rules and things of that nature. C1 was originally started up to support what would be considered a downtown area, but in the rules here, it doesn't clearly define what the downtown area is. If you look at the area around the library, there's 16 businesses there. But around my area, there's 12. So, and around the park, there's 7. So, you know, my style, if I was to do some sort of, restoration of the pontoon, there's the only real area that I could do it is the area where I'm at right now. Now the buildings are set up so that someone could do restoration. We live in a lake community. This is a perfect business for this type of community. The lake itself is an income generator by itself. It supports a very large myriad of businesses that are all related to the water. And mine certainly is that as well. I just want to say a few other things, so then I got a lot of things going on. Right now, I've been able to secure a location to do the work, but it's an hour and a half away. It's in Cassopolis, Michigan, to resolve, and it's an hour and a half back. So it's just such a, I live here, I want to work here. I want to be able to be here to do the job that I wanted to do. I'm born to do that. I had absolute expertise to do here. And I have contacted every single business and that had a large building. The only business I didn't contact is Fortnite. But I contacted everyone else, including every single warehouse facility running from 8 down 17 and all the way around the lake. And everybody is starving for storage space and starving for space. Having me there is just not practical. And there's no place for me to be. So the only solution is to pursue a relationship, better relationship with you, starting with finishing my building and then seeing if I could parlay the idea of letting me do in the very smallest possible way, do my thing there. I made a suggestion that I would only do have most 6 pontoons there, and none of them would be there for storage. So customer pontoons. Most that you see in those pictures that are there are mine. I actually bought a boat for my parents when they sold their pontoon, and I dialed it in with another $40,000, and then Dad passed away, Mom let it go, and they never got the chance to use it. So I've been messing around with this more than anything else, not really getting a chance to enjoy the family. Do you have any questions for me?
We probably will get to that after we open the public hearing. We just wanted to present it so everybody hear what the presentation was.
Okay.
Good time. I will have to go open public hearings.
A motion that we open the public hearing on P009.
In a second. Favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So at this point, the members have any questions, I'll start with you. And you plan on putting in this space
With regards to what?
with regards to buildings or?
There's a building already there. I wasn't gonna put another building there. I've got a permit for a fence that would go from the edge of the building on the west side around the back. But it was just one financial step at a time. So the most important one was the finishing the building, and that was the most costly. So, but
That wouldn't be expanded then.
I stay within my property line. Lewis Kopp, he is my next door neighbor. We're actually become friends. He cuts my lawn. I pay him to do that. And I told him away. My lawn is meticulously cared for. It's really in great shape. So, but I haven't done the fence as of yet, but we've discussed it. We actually walked the property and talked about the fence. So not even really get
It would stay basically like it is.
exactly like it is and keep it as pretty as I possibly could. And also too, I wrote a letter to you. There had been some questions raised about the condition of the center of my property. I had a vendor who was working on the building initially dig their tires down through the middle of my property to lead. And then a lot of the grass fails to grow in those areas as hard as I try to get grass to grow. So somebody brought up the idea, well, what happens when an emergency vehicle has to come to your property and has to go through the mud? Well, I said in that letter that I would be willing to put in gravel from the pea gravel on SR10 all the way up to that yellow cement pad that I have, so that can facilitate anybody to get there without any issue.
Yeah, a couple of things. Vernon and I was on the BZA when we approved, for you to build this building. It took how long to finish it? 3 years, 2 years, 3 years,
At least.
3 years? And, how long is it gonna take for all this? I don't know. I mean,
What do you mean?
yeah, you've given us a picture of what you propose to do, but, how long is it gonna take to do it? I mean,
That's exactly what it looks like
well,
right now.
I understand that, but you're not answering my question. How long is it gonna take you to finish it to make it look like that? If it took you 3 years to finish your building, then how, I just,
How long is it gonna take to make it look like that?
take the pad and you got it. Yeah,
I said in the letter I would make it happen within 3 weeks.
okay.
I've already pressed. Gravel.
What we did, we gave you the variance to actually basically store your classic cars in, and that was it. That's it. And you said you're gonna put a lift. Did you ever put a lift in the building, like you said? There's a lift in there?
There is.
Okay, fine. And, all of a sudden, after you built the building, all we do is see pontoons for sale, we see all this other stuff. And it's like, that's not what the intent was when we gave you, when we gave you permission to build this. And another thing too is you've actually been running this Chicago Pontoons out of this address as a commercial business without the proper zoning, right? Is that correct?
I have an online parts business. Online.
And there, if I pull up Chicago Pontoons, it lists this as the address of it. So
But I don't have a mailbox. I don't have a sign.
I'm just telling you, the address that's listed is this property. So as far as I'm concerned, you've been
So let me
operating
address,
commercial business out of this
let
property.
me address the first thing. In 2020, everybody's lives changed. That's no different than mine. City of Chicago shut us. I spend a good 6 figures starting every beginning of my season in Chicago. City of Chicago shut us down until July 1st. That's talking about 3.5 months of eating money. Okay, we have survived. We're still here. Well, that's no different than after the BZA awarded me a chance to open that building. What was I gonna do? Sit there for 3.5 months, staff, everything? I've got to pay my bills. So you know what? I'm here today as a testament that someone who's paid their bill, followed through in every possible way. the building itself, I have to say, when I made the budget on the building, I didn't realize that that COVID was gonna change the cost of doing business. And my other business by itself could not afford that too. Just the actual difference of being able to finish the building itself, it really wasn't until this year that I could afford it. So it's not an excuse I'm trying to say to you. I purposely did that. Believe me, I would have wanted that. I heard that from everybody, from family members on down about that building.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful, but
Yeah.
to keep it to the question and answer, I mean,
Well, I'm trying to answer the question.
I appreciate
The
the
reason why it did the BZA thing and the reason why it's out right now. That's what I'm trying to.
right, yeah.
Okay.
But I think he was actually
But asking about
big about the separate multiple pontoons in the parks.
Right.
well, those pontoons are mine. I own them. Personally own
All
them.
the parks are behind and everything else.
All parts of behind are for the, online business. They have to go somewhere. I have nowhere other place to go. I've tried everywhere. I'd say 40 possible places. Everybody said no. I don't want to go and take my business to Knox or some other place. I live here. I want to do business here.
I hear you. Everything else stands good.
Well, you have a large amount of storage there.
That's basically what I was gonna ask.
Well. Are you asking, do I have a large?
Will you have a lot there?
It's not my intention to, no, it's not my intention to. It's not gonna get beyond where it's at.
The things are stacked up and fill the whole
Uh,
area with pontoons.
no, my intention from the original life was I was not gonna have more than 6 there, and they're not there for storage. The only time something is there for any length of time is when we're waiting for parts.
Yeah,
And then we can install them on there and boat's gone.
could be a long time.
Well,
Waiting for parts.
hopefully not, hopefully not.
Been there.
I have only one thing to ask, and I want to know why you requested to proceed one.
Because it was recommended to me, by someone here that C1 could be a possibility,
Could be a possibility.
yes.
So under C1, I mean, you would not be required setback at all on that property,
Correct, but I don't intend to change the property.
but you're not changing, but C1 would enable you to. Regardless, if you sold it, next buyer, he still has C1, and he still thinks it was like it's something like.
Well,
And right now, you're how far from your neighbors that are residential that you wouldn't see.
well,
And you're gonna be putting your C1 boundary, or you're gonna be enabled to be able to put a building or anything there on the property line next to R1s or R2.
just to be clear, so that others who are listening could understand, when I went to look at Snyder Corp site, when I clicked on what the zone was of the properties around me, they're all the same as me, S1, except the one business that has a third of my property in C2. So it's not, the C2 and the C1 are logical together, right?
C2, C1. But you still got, is everybody on each side of you right now, they're S1?
All of them are S1,
But they're S1 user resident.
okay, but they're not, what they're not is part of them. The
Or,
Ace keeps coming back and saying, well, gee, you're in a residential neighborhood. Until I saw that, I said, well, it's residential, but it's special uses as well, exactly like me. So there's nothing unusual there. Well, if you pull up S1, you can almost any business
I'm
like
talking
you,
about C1.
right?
We're not getting into unusual, whatever. I'm not talking about that. I don't want to get carried away with the.
I'm not saying, I'm saying it's not unusual.
Or it gets back to why C1 is your choice.
Because it was recommended to me
Okay.
that I could
Nothing
be,
else was recommended. That's the only thing was recommended.
that's the only thing.
Okay.
What you
Thank
could
you.
conceivably
Thank you.
do,
I'm very.
I do not.
Are you planning for any sort of signage or advertising, things like that?
I wasn't actually planning at all. I didn't even mention it. I thought I could just continue to do it online and things like that. I wasn't gonna put a mailbox there. I wasn't gonna do anything. I've got my corporate, brand is registered with, the 517.
I would,
And I'm a legal business. I'm an LLC with the state and have been so for quite some time.
yeah, I would kind of question, under our zoning ordinance here, C1 specifically says the, C1 and commercial district is specifically created for the benefit of downtown business. To encourage the growth of downtown area, which is clearly not, and you don't meet the requirements for C2.
Well,
So that's not big enough.
may I share with you that in here it doesn't state where the downtown area color is. So if it said by these particular streets and these particular zone, I'd say, hey, you know what, that's, I don't have a chance for it. But it doesn't say anything like that. It's an open-ended book right there. So you've got as many businesses, almost as many businesses in my area that you do by the library. So that would conceive to me, and those businesses are larger in scope and the square footage, and they stay out a lot longer in the day, in the evening. So, you know, when a town is not shutting down, it's one that's open and thriving, that is a perfect example of that message. Right there on the strip across from me. I don't intend to be open as late as that, just so you know.
Mr. Commissioner, do you have anything to add?
I don't have any questions or comments right now.
Or recommendation? All right, if you've got, like, there are probably other questions for you. Got two letters to read, I believe.
Not for this case.
Okay. All right, so I'll open change discussion to the public. Anybody have anything to comment on this? Any reason for or against? Like to hear your opinions.
We have,
This is
No, wait,
Jeff Mansfield. Hello.
hello, can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah, this is
We
this is Jeff Mansfield. The zoning that he is requesting, C1, if you look at your zoning code and permitted usage, what his usage is equates to me as like an auto repair, auto accessory sales, things like that. And that is not a permitted use in a C1 district. It is a special use, I believe, in a C2. It's almost like I1 would be a better fit. If you have your zoning code, if you look at page 45 and 46, where it summarizes the usage, you'll see what's permitted in each of those districts as far as automobile, truck, motorcycle, dealers, service, repair, which I think if you put boat in there, that would be what it sounds like his business is.
If I can respond to that, under C1 permitted uses, it is automobile service station is a permitted use. And this type of work would be similar to that.
Jeff, that's on page 31. It does conflict a little bit between the list on page 31 and the summary on page 46. I do see what you're saying, but it does specifically say that auto accessory sales and repair and all that are permitted. Page 31.
But I thought he said he was going to be doing repairs on site also.
Sir, you wanna, can you hear what question was asked of you?
I did not hear anything. It's kind of garbled.
Will you be doing repair work? I believe is the question on site there, repair work as well.
Restoration is taking apart and putting on a boat,
And
putting
No,
floor covering on
Get the idea if you're gonna be doing repairs on that site.
Well, the idea of restoring a boat is like repairing a boat.
We're answering the man's question over here.
So what is the question? I didn't quite get the question. Is the question is, am I doing repairs on the boat? On boats?
On site.
Yes.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Specific to pontoons. So that's all. I
Does
don't,
that answer the question?
Well, I guess if that, is that addressed to me? This is Jeff Mansfield, by the way, 222 Lakeview.
Yes, sir, that was addressed to you if it answered your question.
So it sounds like he is doing repairs, correct?
Yes,
So I would say that it doesn't fit then, a C1 based on the zoning code. So, and I know it's confusing, so it's really up to your interpretation.
I would interpret that as the same as the automobile service station. My interpretation on these things. Which in the ordinance, I get to make that interpretation as a building commissioner.
As the other commissioner, we got that. Anything else online?
Does anyone else online have any questions? Comments? No.
Excuse me. Are there any other discussions that one you may public?
Keep showing us special uses in the S1.
Okay.
About different variances and uses of buildings. Specifically,
But it is already at one right here.
yeah,
That's one is.
but it's similar to the automotive side. So,
Right.
in the way the ordinance written, the commissioner said, as he has already just done, it's stimulate a similar business that could be.
I just want the discussion to be where all the public can hear it.
I have a question for Steve. What is Jeff's PWC zone?
Should be right there.
Look that up, do that. They seem comparable.
Here, so.
R1.
Like an R1 of the business. One line of there.
Yep.
So everybody else, any other members here have anything else to say? Comments or questions, something else?
if you do get this converted to a commercial, you're going to have certain specifications of fire suppression and other things and property track.
Sure. But it's all on everything if that's what.
But that's what I'm saying is in order to operate a business out of it, even if it's an online business, you're gonna have to install a fence, driveway, fire suppression before it can be used again. Right?
So because I put a permit for a fence on there, it was more towards the original idea. Are you saying now that the fence is a condition of the, well,
No, it's not really a condition. It just says that any property line abutting to the stipulations, it's gonna have to be required to effectively screen in one of the following ways, vegetation or a semi.
I'm willing to do this.
Consider buffer.
I'm willing to do that. Sure. And then, and I've got a permit for, I paid for the permit already. Actually, it was kind of interesting. You put the gates and they said gates, so it was. But then,
The fence behind you, would be buffer and the two property behind you, correct?
yes,
Which is not, that's very required, because you decide you're like.
There would be along the S1 property.
You don't.
And so by fencing it in, you're not going to turn any of the outside area into external storage or anything like that.
I have no intention of doing that. I don't want that there
personally.
because that's what seems to drive the negative interest, you know, coming my way. I don't want any more.
Well, it's just one more thing. Yeah, if you're fencing it in and it's not gonna be able to be seen, we've had situations where what's not seen easily is encapsulating kind of thing. That's why we're just trying to be sure.
You're asked away, I'll be happy to address.
Anything else?
Just for clarification, I pulled up Jeff's PWC, it's C2. According to the GIS maps.
We don't think, Culver Marina is some city.
Probably behind you.
But the C2 allows storage also.
Entertain a motion to.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before you make your motion, I would suggest you look at the definition of an automotive service station, because that's what this is being based on, where it talks about what is permitted to do there and what's not permitted to do there. If you are going to be considering this as an automobile service station, it sounds like some of the things that are being described are not permitted to be in a automobile service station.
Just make sure you, we can respond to that. Stuff you already clarified that earlier.
Are you looking at the definitions? If you got the, section? Well,
Obligation 31.
where are you looking at your definition at?
Page 229. Automobile service station.
Those definition states, I'll just read it for the public. A building exclusively for the storage and sale of gasoline or other fuels and uses accessory thereto. Uses not permissible to include major mechanical and or bodywork, painting, welding, storage of automobiles, and the sale of automobiles. So I guess
This is a different, this is under a service station.
Yeah, that's defining a gas station.
yeah,
When you're talking gas and fuels. That's the reason a lot of these things are not allowed.
so we're service. There, garage vehicle repair structure used for the repair, equipping or servicing of motor vehicles, including but not limited to upholstery, glass replacement, painting, welding, and framework, major engine hull and transmission work. A vehicle repair garage may include motor vehicle sale.
What is your opinion on that?
That's more of the intent.
Under your authorization.
Yes.
Record. Satisfied with the answer, not by the satisfied, but they got it. I just wanted to know what's going to get.
Yes. So, were there more questions online? Or do you have any follow-up to those definitions?
No,
Okay, thank you, though. All right, at this time. With the rejection. Voting going open, close by hearing.
So moved.
Second. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, the information that we've gathered. Or the planning commission. Stephanie. Possible change to C1 to last one.
Yeah, you have one in the folder. With the finding of fact, and it was based on this one.
Should have been 009.
Got it? Yep. So, no more discussion, we're going to do finders of fact. The case 2023 PO 009, rezone from S1 to C1 to allow for service maintenance. Hunting boats. The rest of the property is at 18604 State Road 10, Cole, Indiana. Mr. Burns.
Triple
I apologize for that.
It's okay.
All right, first thing, vote yes or no. I understand if you vote no at any time on any of these. You'll vote no on the vote. My first thing is comprehensive plan. Total comprehensive plan and any other applicable adopted planning study before the report. So it's either yes or no as far as the total comprehensive plan and the other applicable adopted planning study or report. Yes or no. Start by you, Mr. Cooper.
Going to say yes because it promotes business growth in our community.
Okay.
Pocket same time instead of 12.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna say no on C1 because we have precedent with Culver Marina and just PWC. I'm gonna guess with Portside as well as C2. So it seems to me that for these types of operations, the C2 is appropriate.
Measure Anderson.
I'm gonna go with, for the comprehensive plan, it's follows that, so I'm gonna go with yes.
Mr. Osborne.
I'm gonna go with no, just because what Don said.
Mr. Good.
No.
Yes.
And the chair votes no to the same reason that not the affect your second C1, C2 vote. And as far as the zoning. All right, number 2, current conditions. Current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. Cooper.
Yes.
Bonds.
I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
Mr. Osborne.
I'm gonna say no also.
Mr. Good.
No.
Yes.
Yes. And chair says yes. All right, third thing on there, desired use. Are you keeping up? I don't want to get ahead of it. Desired use, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. Is the most desirable use. Let's see one for this property. I mean, Cooper.
My vote on that is yes.
Five.
No.
No.
Dan Osborne.
No.
Mr. Good.
No.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
4, property values.
I'm through on that one too.
Pardon?
Most desirable use, I'll do it. Just want to make sure I got it.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I did. I'm sorry. No, I remember reading them. No. Please. Property values. Conservation of property values throughout both color zoning districts. Does it fit? As far as that, saving property values throughout color zoning district. Good.
Yes.
Don? Fox? Other names?
I said no.
Mr. Cameron, you said
Yes.
yes. Mr. Godwin,
No.
Mr. Good? No. And Mr. Miller.
Yes.
And last, but not least, number 5, responsible growth. Responsible growth and development. In other words, as far as being benefits to the town and tourism. Mr. Goodless? Yes. Fox?
No.
Yes.
Simpson, yes.
No.
No. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
And say yes. So,
I never got that last time. Yes, that we're pretty close to seeing this, so we can handle that.
noes. With the finding of facts, we have to vote. I remember voting, no?
Maybe, one, yes. I'm a yes.
No, yes. You have it. You know. Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Are you?
You want the tally for the.
Yeah, let's get the tally. For the, this is just for them, they gonna,
See anybody who's still trying to get ready, yes, for everything.
so
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, is recorded any.
go into that room, have a forum vote. As you know, right now, I mean, we could vote, but it would vote no. And it would not be recommended to the town council to be rezoned to C. We need to have the vote.
If he doesn't withdraw, you need to have,
You want to withdraw this proposal? You have that option at this point.
The consequences are,
Consequences are, we will not recommend it to the town council. We can't because we don't have a quorum vote. And the other option would be to appeal to the town council. Is that correct? So that's your other option.
so
If we go.
without really really knowing and understanding what's expected here, or how, is there a chance to achieve my goal? I don't know. I mean, what's my best chance to achieve my goal here? Is to appeal to the town council?
I'm sorry, we cannot use this board's recommendation to.
But in terms of procedural options, Steve, can you go directly to the town council and this for example?
you have 10 days after this to file an appeal. You can send a letter to me. And then you can have an appeal to the town council. You can withdraw. Or the vote can carry and happen, and the vote will be a no vote, not favorable. And therefore, it'll be a year before you can ask for the rezoning again.
Yeah, I don't want that. So the first one has a better appeal, so I'll go that direction.
You probably wouldn't.
I guess I'm asking for the first idea, since I don't want to have this hold up for another year. It's really absurd.
First idea to withdraw, everybody understands.
Or have the vote.
Say again.
You're withdrawing or having the vote.
Hold on a second. Mike, do you know what to do? Because I don't.
No,
Hold on 1 second, please.
I can't hear what you're saying.
We couldn't hear him.
If you don't withdraw it,
Yes.
then it's back for a year. If you go to the council, you're just depending on them giving you something different than these guys do. If you withdraw it, you could come back next month and ask for C2 or something else. But if you let them go through with this, then you can't come back before them for a year.
Gives you time to maybe even check out your options of what you can or cannot do on the property that you need to do. Maybe things you want to do might not be the same line of it. And I can't give you those options other than state that what you.
Okay.
want to do.
Just coming.
It gives you a timeline.
So the suggestion is that I would not,
If they go through with a vote and say no,
they're gonna say
You
no,
cannot-
majority said no in every single category, so it's not gonna go
it's not going to
through.
go through.
Right. would have to be like 1 to 50% for it to go through in every single term.
And you can vote no, they have to vote no,
All right, so
so it's not going through.
okay, I understand that completely. So the other option would be to,
You withdraw it, you could come back with a different proposal.
in a month.
Yes.
I'll withdraw.
Okay. Chair recognizes withdrawal of the motion. So you, yeah, so now you cover that. What's the whole meeting? You can't wait years. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you passed over. Okay, so that's going to come on the board.
Keep it all together.
I don't know.
If you're gonna take, you're gonna reuse the bulk.
Yes, I am. It's a factor. Yeah.
And I stand on that thing. For the Nazis.
I have.
You know, it's confusing.
Steve gets his folder, right?
Repurchase.
There you go.
I know, I got to put it on the book, I was taking it home.
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward. We got case number 2023. 010, please, I'd like to provide this. Long hours.
I can talk loud.
Sure. I'd like to do that. Okay. Thank you. The Indiana Land Trust Company, address property 14 Venetian Village, Culver, Indiana. Nominated for 2023 -P010. We plan to make lot 13 and 14 a single lot.
I'm always in favor.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Bernie Feeney, of Whiteman Associates, 1405 North Michigan is, and I'm here this evening on behalf of, the Indiana Land Trust Company. Our client is particularly Van Mostovsky, who is, through the Indiana Land Trust Company, the owner of the property. This property consists of all of lot 14 in Venetian Village and a portion of lot 13. So what we're doing is by plat, combining the two pieces of property. It's a simple matter. That's all that we're really involved with. I brought the plat with me tonight so that if approved, it can be signed by the president and secretary. We have a house and a garage on the property. The garage is on the portion of the lot. The house is on the other, the full lot. And once this replat is taken care of, then both structures will be on the same lot. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
In the picture, aerial one, there's a blue line around one parcel. And a little parcel, but in the plat map, it actually looks like lot 13 is further south. At least where I'm reading. Lot 13 is down here.
Ours is a survey based on the legal description
Mhm.
of the property. I have the legal description here with me, the deed that was executed to the land trust. So this survey is based upon the warranty deed that they got at the time, regardless of what the GIS map may show.
Okay, thank you.
I'm understanding your point to combine because the small 13 lot is actually a non-conforming lot.
And in order for them to get a permit to do anything, they have to combine the two pieces.
Right.
And
And there's good information for everybody here to know that Steve and I have looked at this before and I gotta look at the problem.
And there's a couple more coming up that you folks will be looking at as well.
I
before
told
the
that
summer's
there
through.
too, and I was wondering about that. It wasn't nice, not nice to ask about this.
Where's the division between lot 13 and 88? What is that 88 to the left of that? What's that signify?
He is referring to the.
GIS, the 88, right there. What's that?
That's footage. It's incorrect, but it's footage.
Okay.
I have no, I honestly, I'm sorry, I don't mean to make fun. I have no idea what that 88 represents.
Okay.
Please look at the survey. It is accurate based upon the legal description. I honestly find many times when the GIS map is our best client, they send people to us because the lines that are drawn by a draftsman. I'm a professional surveyor. This is what I do for
Right, I got you. Okay. And is there any intention to ever tear down the garage and actually maybe add onto the house that comes out to that property?
potentially. They have that option now
If
if
they-
the replat is approved.
Also, we plan to eliminate the primary structure not being on that single lot. Kids.
Right. They could actually move part of the house over there. Right.
This area is not part of one 13 or any other part of.
No,
any
no,
other
that-
part of the.
that is a launch. That is a part of lot 13 as it was kept by whoever sold them part of 13. That area,
So this.
that area that you're referring to, no, it does not.
Owners, okay.
No. That's a boat slip right there with the concrete around the area.
Just cleaning up the lot lines, and it's something that the town's been asking people to do around the area in our zoning. So, it's a great idea.
Seeing me here so often.
We're getting used to it. But yeah, I mean, just to let everybody know, as far as it's the purpose of the planning commission for, I'm talking a long time before several of you on here, or even our building commissioner. It has been a going process of trying to, I use the word clean up as far as some of these non-conforming lots that we deal with. This would eliminate it. So I mean, I understand as far as the way it is right now. I think it's a very good thing to do. So, anybody else have anything? If not, take it to the vote. So, on the record,
You have to open it up. You have to open it up.
public hearing, yeah.
I don't still do it.
So let's do a public hearing, just make sure, because of the process of the deed. So I'll have a motion to open public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing on P010.
A second.
In a second, all approved? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So as we've discussed this and public has not had a chance to respond. So if anybody has any objection,
required minimum distance. And the, subdivision of this property goes from one lot at, 5.0 acres to two lots, lot one being 2 3/4 acres, and lot two, which is the east lot, being 2.1. And again, that's because the line down the middle of the property is an angling line, and its location was dictated by the buildings.
And so that's so that the garage or shed, whatever's in the property is their house.
Exactly. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
We get to go. So, other hearing. I'm making a bad one. Motion to open public hearing.
I'm looking at, we open a public hearing on E011.
And second, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? So. Anybody have any comments, questions? What is the purpose of this?
To split the property into two usable lots.
What is it going to be used for?
It's zoned for residential, so that'll be what's used for.
Any other questions?
I guess my other one question would be, since the one's going to have a barn on it, are you going to be able to build a house far enough away from that barn to still meet the lot lines?
Easily. The frontage on that is 125 feet, I believe. So, you know, in the sense of that being a 5-acre piece of property, yeah, there's gonna be plenty of room to build a house on that piece of property without impacting the barn, without impacting any of the zoning laws regarding how close to the sideline you can be or how close to the road. And further, still get a septic system.
Definitely my question for septic system, where it's located now.
The septic system?
So I put the line up there.
We didn't locate the septic system for the existing house. The proposed house will have to have a soil boring done and the septic system designed and approved by the Board of Health.
Right, and that has to be done.
But I didn't locate
Yeah,
the
you just
existing
put
system.
the line across the existing.
No, the line does not go across the existing.
Appreciate that.
We're far enough. We're far enough away from
Okay,
all the structures that that's not a consideration.
right, but I had to ask.
Understood.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Commissioner, you have anything to recommend or?
No, I don't have any recommendation. Seems okay by me.
All right, anybody online? Have anything? Anybody other have any comment, questions? Any to objections? Great, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna think motion to.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second. For second, all in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. So we will continue your finding of facts. Case number 2023 P011. First thing on there, commission shall determine if the form of principal standards required by subdivision regulations. Either agree or disagree. I thought it was Cooper.
This does meet. It does conform. Yes. Yeah. Agreed, yes.
Mr. Fox, yes.
This is already zoned as one, this property. Okay.
So, both lots, yeah, I just come. It will be.
Yes. I agree.
David Osborne,
Agree.
good?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Agree.
And Chair agrees. Due regard shall be shown to all natural features such as tree growths, water course, historic spots, or similar conditions which if preserved will add factors and value to the proposed development. Rankin Cooper. I agree. Ms. Fox? Yes.
Yes.
Osborne?
Yeah, agree.
Mr. Booth?
Agree.
Mr. Miller?
Agree.
Chair agrees. Due consideration shall be given the prevention of errors, stream pollution, proper treatment, disposal of refuse and other waste, and elimination of other blame characteristics. Mr. Cooper,
Yes.
agree? Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Emerson?
Agree.
Mr.
Agree.
Mr. Good? Agree. And Mr. Miller?
Agree.
And the chair agrees. Subdivision layout shall be of such character that it protects the public health, safety, and general welfare of the county or the our zoning. Either one, any residents.
Agree.
Agree. Mr. Osborne,
Agree.
Mr. Sanderson,
Agree.
Ms. Fox. Yes. And Mr. Cooper. Agree. And the chair agrees. In designing the street system, subdividers shall be guided by the principles set forth in the subdivision report. Which we don't have anything up there to do that, so you don't even have to disagree, I guess. You know, I can say everybody agrees. Agree. All agree.
Yep.
So, any additional statements that this might have brought up as far as the funding back? All right, time I will entertain a motion to approve the read.
Motion to approve. Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We should vote that simple. Absolutely. Business matter.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, at this time before, get this, okay. We have paid. Any more? 2023 P012, case 2023 P000. Application was filed by the Culver Building Commissioner, Steve Gorski, on behalf of the county of Culver to approve rezoning of parcels. And I will, I guess, open the public hearing before we even address those, going to be individually. Well, you're gonna have to go over several items, but you can't explain it first. Might be helpful.
I'll do that. In April of 2018, the Plan Commission approved rezoning 5 parcels located on State Road 17 and State Road 10, including 17664 State Road 17 and 19456 State Road 10 from S1 to PUD. This property is owned by Culver Investment Group, sometimes referred to as Tom Bestie's property. concept plan was presented in March of 2018. S1 to PUD rezoning was approved April 2018, and it was ordinance 2018-005. Time limit for approval of a secondary plan is not more than 18 months following Plan Commission approval of the primary plan. A primary plan nor a secondary plan were submitted, and there's been no building permits issued. Based on Article 5, Section 040E3, the Plan Commission shall determine whether to consider extending the time or to initiate action to amend the zoning map so as to rescind the planned unit development designation. I did get asked legal counsel about this, and town council stated that yes, it should revert back, if not automatically, but that wasn't said, but it should revert back as to what is directed in Article 5 of our zoning ordinances. In fact, Mr. Bestie contacted me today and said his attorney agreed that it should have reverted back 3 years ago. I asked the Plan Commission to take into consideration any citizen input and vote in favor of rescinding the PUZ zoning to revert back to S1 zoning for Article 5 of the Culver zoning ordinances, and to favorably refer this to the town council.
So we will entertain a motion to open public hearing.
I motion that we open public hearing on P 012.
And we got a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Take the public hearing open for case 2023 P012. I will state also that there was an extension actually given to the PU project, and it had actually time had expired as well. I'm not sure if you said that or not, but I hear it, so I thought I'd add it.
It did not say that.
In the properties, I mean, I will state, start out with property are 19456 State Road 10. The other property is State Road 10 Culver, and it's got the parcel number. You can look that. Just let you know where these properties actually are. I know 10 and 17, but on one I've got the address, the other one is 17664 State Road 17. And most people here, I think, are familiar with the properties, exactly what was that property. If anybody has any questions, I will try and get the answers for you if you're concerned about the property themselves. But there are parcel numbers as far as the GS. And so at this time, members, do you have anything? Any comments, understanding why is this being done? Questions? I think you've explained pretty much everything about it, so. As far as students, any comments, questions, concerns?
So,
State your name and
oh, I'm sorry. My name is Dean King. I live at 307 West Academy Road in Culver. My property abuts one of these parcels. So the PUD was rescinded. And so the zoning is going to go back to where it was at S1.
correct.
So if Mr. Bestie decides to develop this as an S1, will he have to provide detailed drawings and plans for an S1 development, just like you did? for
Every
PUD?
zoning requires that. If you're building out on R1, you still have to present the site plans, building setbacks, pervious, impervious.
And the hearing process would go, there will be a hearing, even though if he's using S1 and he asked for a development used in the S1 zoning, will there be a hearing for that plan or proposal or not?
No, because if everything conforms to the ordinances that's required for S1, then he can come to the building commissioner, and if everything conforms, the building commissioner can get the permit process. It won't go come forth with request.
So as property owners, near this, if we want to kind of be informed about drainage and what's happening with the topography, and any kind of, plans for these fields, who would we talk to, so that our concerns regarding drainage and surface water and that kind of thing would be, how do we as citizens know that our concerns and as property owners will be considered?
You would be notified if there's any variances that would be required on that property to their development. If you have any questions or whatever concerns on that, you can address our building commissioner.
Yeah, you call me anytime. And if he wants to subdivide the property, then it's gonna come back to public notice again.
That's what we needed to know. Okay, thank you.
We do have one other question.
Name
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
address for
Joe Click, 17578 State Road 17. There is a driveway that he is in the process of putting in at the present time. Is that, are you aware of that, and is that permitted?
Or the
I do some
driveway.
equipment was out there. I didn't know.
Right off of 17. It's right off of 17 then, correct?
Right.
Is he active?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that permit for that?
That's what I know.
Do you need a permit for a driveway?
It depends. I'll look into it.
Sometimes no, and sometimes yes.
State highway, absolutely.
It's a,
And-
they're, it's a culvert. They're putting in a culvert too.
Right,
And it's a permit through the state,
but you have to have a release from
if
the
it's on a
state.
state highway.
Because you're on state highway.
Right, yeah. I'm sure it's probably does. Yeah, he's done enough work.
Yeah. I can't-
They expire.
I-
Those state issued driveway permits, if you will, expire. So you have time to look. I'll have to look into this question
Please.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
or answer it. Yes.
Well, and there's a second one that he's got staked, but has not actually got the work started on.
Off the highway?
Yeah. Correct. On the others.
Do you have another question?
Yeah.
And I know Steve will take care of what you asked for, because I know he has to check with the state or check with them and see if they got the proper.
It was at the September 15th, 2020 meeting when you rescinded his PUD. And at that time, he said that he just got easements off Highway 17 because they were on hold with NDOT.
Right.
So at that time, he said that was 2020 that he got the authorization to put this off Highway 17. Now, did you say that there's a window for that as well?
But actually, he didn't get it until after he had that extension because of that. And he didn't, his extension let it go, but he still didn't come back with the whole plan for the primary plan to be approved.
I'm asking you
He
about
wasn't moving forward. So
from NDOT. So is there a time limit on that as well?
I'm sure.
I'm not sure if easement's the right word. A driveway permit
Okay,
is good for 1 year.
1 year.
And that's expired.
Yeah.
Maybe. Doesn't necessarily know. I'm not necessarily sure the state notifies if they just gave him the permit. But
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it. I'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
No, you just put the money in the fence of the south. Having felt so.
What's he up? What's he up to? No.
Any other comments,
Mr. Chairman,
concern,
We have one online.
one on line? Great.
So go ahead, please.
Thank you. name
Yeah,
and
so-
address.
Jeff Mansfield, 222 Lakeview. The question I had is, is any of that property being farmed? Because in an S1, it agricultural production does require a special use. And does that going to require a special use permit, variation, granting of a special use to to continue the farming?
Are you talking about the buildings that are on the north side of North End?
I'm talking about the 4 properties that you're discussing as have.
There's like somebody's growing crops and somebody's growing.
Yeah, oh, yes.
And I say, I doubt there's been any issues.
Yeah. I mean, when how long it's standing.
I will also put that on the list.
Yes.
Verify and check.
It was there prior to them buying some of it.
Not crops,
Huh?
not crops if he's growing them.
No.
But with agricultural use that.
Was already being used as agriculture.
Grow crops.
Yes.
I don't have considered that now.
Any other concerns online? Answer. Right, no other, oh, got another one back there. What?
Because of that question, again, Joe Click 17578, anyway. That has been farm ground ever since we've lived there. And so why is it S1 and not agricultural?
Because we don't have an agricultural. zoning.
And it calls a 2 mile zoning
We've got the 2 mile
limits. We don't have agriculture.
Okay,
It said agriculture when the zoning ordinance
so
place they
the question that was
designated.
raised over whether they were raising crops on it, they've raised crops on it for, we've been
Right.
here
And
38
it
years.
is allowed in this one.
Okay, that's what we need to know.
The only. Any other discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Motion to close the public hearing. And a second, all in favor? Public hearing is closed. Any discussion between members, any points? I have none. The commissioner, we have a recommendation or Richard looked at that.
I recommend the plan commissioner vote favorable and recommend the city council.
And I will say that I understand under state code and something else, this is the only route that we can take. So by state code, we have to revert it back. But under our actual, we call it part of protocol, bring it before the planning commission. I don't think it really was had to come before the planning commission. But under this, we want to make sure everything is public and, explained before it goes to county. After that said, I'll bring that thing.
Okay.
Got a motion to, I guess, to the original zoning, to move back to original zoning and recommend that for. First and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Now we're ready for a break?
Yes.
Everybody ready for a break?
Quick, how long? Quick break.
How long do you think we need? 5 minutes?
Back at 8.
Or you can split it.
You're saying it's all sixteen. So But I think proposing to them what figure out what you want. But I think it's we said it's pretty early. Sure, you can see it. It's a big problem when it comes to what about? If they're remaining.
I didn't know everybody left. It didn't work. That's what.
I thought that's what we were adjourned.
Yeah, everybody. All right, everybody, if you please, we're gonna start the next hearing on the solar, case 2023 P0. It's covers zoning ordinance, chapter 13 definitions, solar energy, and attorney, Ms. 3C is going to present it. Everybody get a seat out there, everybody got room?
All right, good evening, planning commission members. I'm here to present the town council's proposed zoning ordinance. On June 27th, the town council took up the issue on whether our solar zoning ordinance needed amending. The council let me present at the meeting what I found after researching our solar ordinance. What I found is our solar ordinance had some serious copy and paste errors and left Culver open to industrial solar development about anywhere in Culver in the 2 mile zone. How do I know that ordinance had copy and paste errors? I'll read you a section which says the developer has the duty of compliance with reasonable conditions laid down by the Marshall County Plan Commission. That should be the Culver Plan Commission. Okay. Under our ordinance, solar panels are called solar energy systems. There are categories of systems: roof mounted, ground mounted, micro solar, small scale solar, medium scale solar, and then large scale solar. Large scale solar is anything more than 40,000 square feet. Small scale solar or large scale solar is a fully permitted use in every single zoning district in Culver. Suburban, residential, lake, commercial, industrial, and agricultural. Fully permitted use means that to put up a large industrial solar field, all one would need to do is apply for a permit zoning wise and submit a site plan to the technical review committee and get the building commissioner to sign off. The requirements of our site plans are minimal. Show property lines, drawings of the system with the layout of the system, the tallest finished height of the solar collector. That's vague. Names and addresses, how parcels are owned, and documentation that you talk to the utility company. You fulfill those requirements and you can put up your 1,000-acre solar field right up to the setback limits on lake, town, or out of town. Now, I will point out, when I gave this presentation at the Culver Town Council meeting, a pro solar person at the meeting said, well, there's about 0% chance industrial solar would even come to Culver's 2 mile zone. It wasn't a debate at that time, so I didn't refute it. But the point the person is talking about, the point is the person didn't know what they were talking about. because industrial solar has already executed the lease in our 2 mile zone, which would be right about here, below 16th Road, which would be right about here on our map. Okay. So I've also heard, well, no one would put industrial solar near the lake because property values are so high. Someone who speaks like that is unfamiliar with the issues this town faces on a not so terribly infrequent basis, where well-funded persons bring spite litigation or well-funded persons pushes the bounds of how our zoning ordinances read just to prove a point. There are real issues here that are unique to Culver. The ordinance leaves a lot to be desired. I don't think the drafters of the ordinance were contemplating large-scale industrial 1,000-acre solar parks when they drafted this ordinance, especially when I review setbacks for solar in regular housing. Setbacks in suburban, 25 feet in the front and back. Lake, 25 feet in the front and back, 10 on the side. Residential, 25 feet in the front and the back, 10 on the side. Again, you're familiar with the setbacks in this town, but that's where your solar setbacks could be. Other communities are imposing setbacks of 250 feet to 1,500 feet on industrial solar. A good site plan should have things like number of panels, types of panels, maximum spatial extents, the means of interconnecting to the grid, drawings of all related accessory structures and roads supporting the solar, engineering certification, a description of the solar company's business structure, layout plans drawn to scale by a surveyor, restrictions about the amount of noise that is generated from inverters, most importantly, a fire protection plan for the construction and operation of the facility, and proof of correspondence and cooperation with wildlife agencies regarding endangered species. We need all of those things in a site plan, and we need to address the setbacks I discussed. And if we're going to have industrial solar, we need to make it at least a special use, not a permitted use that surrounding neighbors can participate in a BZA hearing. Moreover, the ordinance right now does not require solar companies installing the panels to post a bond for the panels removal or decommissioning, even if they should go bankrupt. And now we have these large battery storage units that are being developed. They are the size of semi-trailers and are used to store excess energy coming onto the grid. Our ordinance says nothing about how to zone for those. We didn't contemplate them. There's real concerns about the batteries. Senator Bohatchik came to the Marshall County Commissioners meeting yesterday and talked about batteries in Illinois burning for days. I think it would be best for the Plan Commission to approve the certification for the 2-year moratorium. If the Plan Commission can develop a safe solar plan for all zoning districts before then, it can do so and bring it back to the council. And just one last point, the beginning for everything in the Plan Commission's eyes is the comprehensive plan, and it'll take us to our comprehensive plan. And it talks about rural areas. Rural areas are designated as rural and are intended, and we do have rural areas on the map. That was a misspeak earlier, but we do have green areas that are rural. For the primary purposes of cultivating the land, producing crops, and raising livestock. Although some isolated residential properties exist within the areas designated as rural, non-agricultural uses should be limited in scale and complementary to agricultural uses. Development in these areas should preserve open space and environmental features where possible. I'll leave you with that.
Thank you.